Check, check. Mic check 1, 2. That's some technical difficulties. Always some drama with the stream. It's all good though. I think we back. Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me. Let me know if the music's coming through. Mighty J Young was good. Can y'all hear me out there? All good. Bet. Just checking the camera angles, y'all. I'm gonna be with you in 1 second. Think we good. What up, y'all? Thanks for tapping in, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful Friday in Georgia. I'm hoping all y'all up top escape the smoke today. This whole Canadian wildfire thing is wild. We got a little bit of the smoke came down here the last couple days, but nothing too crazy. Definitely no orange sunsets like y'all had. Apocalyptic sunsets. Shout out Trader to the Living was good, man. Kyle Chandler. Gary Smith was good, y'all. And homie B Stro, what's good, homie? Yeah, this is just something I was working on earlier today. I'm really feeling this whole pedal workflow with the MPC instruments. So what I've been doing is basically with the X. I mean, you can do it with any interface that has more than 2 outputs. I've been running the 3 and 4 out to the pedal board, and let me just give you the overhead view. So basically what I've been doing is just running 3 and 4. I got it coming out of Volt right now, but a lot of people just run it straight out of the MPC into the pedal chain. And before I was using this is the Electro Harmonics platform. I was using the Dream 65 to get kind of like guitar tones, more like amplified 60s guitar tones. It's got a pretty good plate reverb on it too. And then I was using this Chase Bliss CXM 1978 for all my reverbs. So pretty much what I would do is I would find a sound that I really like. I would kind of create, a melody in the MPC, and usually like an organ or usually guitars. I would just send them out through the pedals and kind of create, kind of more vintage tones with it. And it's been great. But I've really, ever since the Jura came out, I really wanted to get some more modulation stuff. So when I went to NAMM, I saw this Walrus Audio Julianna, and let me see if I can get it. I don't know if the close-up is going to catch it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can move the camera in just a second. Let me see if I can move it down just a little bit. Boom. So this one right here, it's got Old Girl on the front. And it's really dope artwork. It's the first thing that caught my eye. When I went to NAMM, a lot of the pedal companies were using, they just had guitars where you can test them out. But Walrus Audio was dope because they actually had, they had a synth, a synth station set up, and they had like probably 5 or 6, something like that, of their most recent pedals. And you can just like on and off, turn them on and off. That's the really dope thing about pedals, for those who don't know, is you can bypass them. So you can run a clean chain through it to one. Like if I don't want this one or this one on the chain, I can just bypass them. It'll go right to the third one, right? So it's kind of like a plug-in chain in that respect. It's like a real life plug-in chain. So I've really been enjoying this workflow. And when I heard this Julianna joint at NAMM, I was like, yeah, I gotta get my hands on it. So shout out to Zounds. They actually sent it out for me to check out. And yeah, man, I just want to cook up with it and see what I can come up with. I really like the Jura. I've been messing around with it all week. So I've been getting some really cool tones running it through. I didn't have the cables to connect to Julianna up until today. So I've been running it through the first two pedals and really the last one too, to get like some cool reverbs. I would say the only downside on the MPC instruments is the reverbs, because the actual reverb on the MPC is not that good in my opinion. Even the air reverb is like cool. You can get some, you know, something kind of decent out of it. But compared to plugins, definitely compared to like a really good reverb pedal, it's not even close. So like I've been enjoying just kind of coming up with stuff in the Jura and then sending it through the chain and using a better reverb. So now I want to use this Julianna, which is kind of like a delay chorus type of effect. So it kind of thickens things up. You know what I mean? It gives it like a fatter sound. So we'll try a whole bunch of different stuff. That's actually a beat I was working on earlier today, and I really like the tone on the organs. So I'll show you like a before and after type of thing. Let me just duplicate the sequence. So I'm just mute out everything else and then just maybe I'll clear the whole sequence. We'll see. Yeah, I think I'll do it like that. All right, so let me go to 5. And I'm just gonna pull up this organ plugin. Let me know if y'all can hear that. I know it's kind of low. So that's kind of dry coming out of the MPC plugin. I have it going through the Electro Harmonics platform. Let me go back to the overhead. I have it going just through this one right now, and it's pretty cool because it's got like a pretty decent distortion. It's nothing too crazy. And then it's got this tone knob that I use to filter the top end off sometimes. So the platform is more like a compressor with just like a couple small controls. So usually I'll just use this to get the levels right before I run it into the amp. So once I turn this one on, definitely more like raspy. I can turn the distortion up. And now I'll turn the Julianna on. It's got this like accelerator button. It just sounds way, way fuller. So like when I heard this, I want to try it on some of the Juno stuff too, the Jura plugin. I'll probably deactivate the reverb and then we'll just run it through the chain. So definitely like it so far. Let me see if I can pull up an instance of Jura and we'll mess around with it. How y'all digging the Jura out there so far? I've been hearing like a lot of really good feedback about it. I can't say anything bad about it. I think it's probably, so far, I think it's probably my most used other than Fabric XL. I've been using Fabric XL a lot for like strings. I do like that organ plugin, but yeah, I think the Jura is going to be one of my favorites. And I'm not like a real synthy guy, but there's something about about the actual Juno that I've always liked. It's a very familiar set of tones. Let me go to program edit. And I'm just gonna do, you know, what I was telling y'all, basically deactivate all these, and then I'll bring them in one at a time. Probably start with the reverb because that's loud. Bring that down a little bit. And I like to go to program edit to make selections because then I can just keep it in the effects. Cool. All right, and let me find something that's kind of lush. I do like the arps too. The arps, I mean, it's got a lot of good presets. It already sounds good. All right, so let me send that through 3 and 4. It kind of sounds, bring the tempo down. Let's send that through 3 and 4. So you can hear the tone already being lowered. Crazy. I can rock with that right there. Hold on, let me get something started. I'm telling you, this pedal chain thing is like instant inspiration. Of course, if the origin sound is good, you know what I'm saying, the sound you start with is good, that helps. But man, like once you throw, you know, the kind of lush reverb and then, you know what I mean, you really dial in your effects, it's crazy. What else I've been getting into is double tapping the sampler button and going to the looper instead of just sampling it in. I've been finding that letting it run all the way through and then hitting record on the looper as it loops has been good for catching, like, you know, the reverb on the beginning part, if that makes any sense. I missed it. Fire. All right, so pretty much with the looper, you just hit export and then you just turn it into a new sample. So I'll put that on program 1. We'll throw it on pad 13. Nah, start a new program. We're just gonna hit keep. And we'll call this Julianna 1. Bet. right, so where we at? 90 BPM. So let's mute that for now. I'll go to track 4 and we'll start a new program. And sample assign, what was that one called? Julianna 1, right? That's a loud sample. Let me see. Track makers beats. Don't be telling all the secrets. Look, bro, here's what's cool about pedals, y'all. And I'm just gonna tell y'all. The coolest thing about pedals, and I think guitar guys have known this for a long time, like pedals are kind of like they're like plugins in real life, and they make them in limited quantities, right? And there's like thousands of them. So even though you can kind of like replicate somebody's chain to a certain extent, like when you combine it with the different instruments, some people like, you know, different sounding reverb, and there's like a price barrier to entry, right? So that's kind of the thing about hardware. You know, you have limited quantities, and then you also, you know, it costs, right? So it's not like somebody can just get a crack, you know what I'm saying, of your pedal chain or whatever. So I don't know if you were talking about that as far as secrets. I think that's what's cool about analog gear in general is the chances of you getting the same exact setup as somebody else is pretty slim. You know what I mean? And especially with pedals, like guitar guys know, like they kind of keep their chain to themselves to a certain extent. You know what I mean? And, you know, you're constantly swapping things out. So I think that's what's dope about it. It's kind of like the pedal thing is almost like a culture. You know what I'm saying? Like people trade them in, get a different one, swap them, trade them with other guitarists and stuff like that. So it's a pretty dope situation. Like you don't really have to worry about people, you know, taking your sound, quote unquote. It's really about the combinations that you use. You know what I mean? It's really like a plug-in chain. And even though somebody could get it, like I think this, if I added everything up, it's probably like, I don't know, like $2,000, you know what I mean? For all the different pedals I got. So, and some people have like 8 pedals in their chain, or, you know what I mean? 6, 10. So you can really kind of go crazy with it, but I'm trying to pace myself with it. Cause I kind of see it's like plugins. You can end up collecting a whole bunch of them and not using that many. And I found that just by picking a few, like 2 or 3, and really, you know, learning how to work them and using them in conjunction with plugins, you can kind of just, you know, you can kind of really dial in your sound and the stuff that you really like. So I'm not really worried about like revealing too much, you know what I'm saying? Plus, like I said, Zounds hooked me up with this thing. So if somebody's interested in it, you can just click my Zound link down below and, you know, go look for it on the Zounds website if you want to support the channel. So I want to make sure they get love too for this gear, because they're sending me out like some really cool stuff. I just got, this just came in. This is going to be the next one, the Warm Audio dual channel 2 preamp. So I'm definitely going to throw that in the mix later on this week. And I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that for Standalone Soul 5. The you know, my next expansion pack. So that's gonna give it like a real vintage tone. That's gonna be cool to get into. But yeah, so I'm not really worried about people jacking the technique. I really want to show people like different options and stuff, man. Because this pedal workflow is really dope. You know what I mean? Like I think some of the criticism lately about the MPCs has been how clean. And how, you know, some people say sterile. I think it's just clean. You know what I mean? It's like a DAW, really, the sonic quality. You got to add your own texture going in. So I think this is just a really dope way to do it. But yeah, let's get back to the music, man. Easy for me to go off on tangents with this stuff. All right, so we go ahead and lay this down. All right, perfect loop. And then what I'll do is sometimes I'll just go back to the original track and then I'll just pick a different, I'll clear out the MIDI data and then we'll pick out a different patch. So this is how I create my samples. You know what I mean? I'll just basically commit to it and then move on to the next sound. Yeah, this is wild. I'm telling you, this Jura plugin is crazy. Where we at? Program edit. I'm gonna take it to, maybe we'll do like a lead. Leads bright. Well, let's give it a shot. Kind of don't want bright. I kind of want like a real biting type of synth. Let me see if we can find another one. Let me do the overhead. This is nuts. Kind of like that, like a lower texture. High Five Book, you said you can record your twist into the sequence also. I mean, the knob twist, you can record it in real time as far as these. I think a lot of them do have MIDI, but I don't have it MIDI'd up. But yeah, I mean, you can record it in real time, definitely. All right, I'm gonna go back to the looper and clear it. Distortion's dope. It's easy to carry away with it though. All right, let's resample it. Yeah, Trader to the Living, he said, I've been sleeping on the looper, definitely need to play with it more. I have too, bro. I just got into it. Actually, I saw Ad McCree using it like a couple videos ago that he did. And I was like, yo, why am I not using the looper? It's just a smarter way to resample because it does it, right on the one. So I think it's dope. Export that. Let's go to latest program. We're going to put that on the pad next to the other one. So let's go to keep. And we should be able to just plug in, you know what I'm saying, the just program it right next to the other one, right? So let's mute this. Why is it on solo? Okay. All right, and I think track 4 has, we're gonna call this ARP. And then we'll go to 6 and we'll call this one lead. Lead chords, actually. So it's a pretty quick workflow. You know what I'm saying? Like once you get your idea down, the recording part is pretty quick. So gotta turn that down now. All right, so on the what you call it, on the ARP, I want to throw that on like an auto pan. Let's see, auto pan, sync. Yeah, let's do that one. I put it on the wrong one. It's a quick fix. Sounded pretty sexy. I'm feeling that. And it's definitely what's cool about the Jura too for me is I make like a lot of kind of darker hip hop beats. So having that kind of 80s vintage vibe is really, really it's good for me because it gets me out of my comfort zone. Let's find this bass. Just fix a couple of those notes real quick. It's tough in these non-quantized streets. I like that feel. I gotta speed it up. I like that. Let me check in with y'all real quick. I got in the zone real quick. Hey. Richard Brown, appreciate it, bro. Shout out to everybody that's tapped in so far, all 36 of y'all. Y'all can hit that like button, it goes a long way. I appreciate it, y'all. Hi-Fi Book said the live tweaking of resonance and filter with the Q-links can get crazy sounds. Absolutely. Yeah, I think most of this stuff can be done inside the MPC. The difference is when you're using stuff like this is you're putting real analog circuitry back into the machine, right? So instead of just using digital emulations, you're actually getting some real, hum and harmonic distortion out of the pedals and stuff. So that's why guitarists use them, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's dope because a lot of them, all these you see on here are all stereo. So they're making a lot more stereo pedals now for, electronic musicians, whatever you want to call this, guys who make beats on MPCs and stuff like that. So it's not that you can't, get a similar thing in the MPC. It's just the textures are just you'll see what I mean. After using MPCs for probably like the last 6 years, the modern ones, you realize there's kind of like you get tired of how clean the sound is. If you want to start doing stuff that's a little more crunchier, a little dirtier, you can still get that sound, but you gotta use some other circuitry. You know what I'm saying? And what's dope about, you know, everything from the well, with the One, if you have an external interface, you can do it. But with the Live 2, with the X, with the XSE, you know, and the original Live, you can run that 3 and 4 or that 5 and 6 out to an external processor. And that could be anything, like an old rack mount unit you have or whatever. Color the sound, bring it back in, and you get a different texture. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that you really can't emulate inside the machine. They try to do it. Like, the Air Flavor Pro is really good. You know what I'm saying? It's a really good in-the-box plugin, but it can't quite get the same crunch and bite as outboard stuff. You know what I mean? Like, those analog circuits, whatever they are, whatever type of electricity is going through them, it just adds something kind of magical to the signal. And everybody can't hear it at first. I'm not trying to act like I'm, you know, superior ear or something. It's kind of something that you just pick up, you know, through listening to the same equipment over and over and over again. You're like, man, it's not giving me something that I'm looking for, or something that you heard on a record. And that's what I've been chasing with the pedals and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to get those same sonics, those same warm textures that you hear on records, on vinyl, you know what I mean, back into the MPC. So it's cool because I'm composing in the MPC, then I'm sending it out through the pedals, and then I'm sampling again. And sometimes I'll take this stuff and I'll chop it up. This, I just use all loops, you know what I mean, which is cool too. But if you really want to get funky, like, let me just turn it back up real quick. Like, we could just take this. And it got so many modulation effects. What we got here? Air half speed, right? Crazy. Kind of mix it. Crazy Finger said, how would you run it back into the OG Live? I've never tried it, given everything I do in Ableton. Same thing, bro. You're gonna run it out 3 and 4 or 5 and 6 into your pedal board and then into the sample inputs. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an external interface connected, you can use, you know, separate inputs for that. With the Volt, I have 4 inputs. So I don't have the ones on the front set up. So I'm not sampling through 1 and 2, I'm sampling through 3 and 4. So if I go to the sampler real quick, you can see input 3 and 4 right here. So that's how I run this. It really depends on your interface, but if you're just using standalone, you can, actually the X has 4 inputs, you know what I mean? So I could use this too, the same way. But if you only have 2 inputs, like on a Live 2, just run it into the 1 and 2, you know what I mean? And just loop it back in. I like that. All right, let me go ahead and save that because I just want to keep messing around with the Jura in this joint, and we'll try some different stuff too. Maybe we'll run some strings through it. Let me see. We'll call this one. And what's dope too is, like, when you resample like this, you don't have to worry about losing your settings. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if you have let me take this down real quick. If you have a what you call it, like a loop that you made with MIDI, one of the concerns when you're saving your projects, like say if you want to take a beat and finish it in standalone, right? The challenge with that is you have the MIDI data, but like say you used a third-party plugin on controller mode or something, you can't get that sound back, right? So one of the things I tell people they should do is, and this workflow really like made me hip to it that I should be doing it, is every loop that you make in your MPC, even if it's MIDI, bounce it down to a sample, even if you never use it as a sample, right? Like even if you just keep it set up the way you have with MIDI, just save it as a sample, because what that does, it automatically gives you a stem of that sound, right? So if you ever got to pull up, say something happens to a plugin, or you're using a plugin that you don't want to renew, you have one of those subscription type deals, you always have that stem in your project. So I like to go through now every MIDI track that I do and just hit bounce the sample, and it just automatically resamples it. And it's just a saved stem of that audio, of that track. So if you ever have to recreate it, you got the stem there, you probably won't have to recreate it. But if you want to, at least you'll have the audio as a reference on there too. So really dope, really quick way to kind of like back up your work into stems. And then, if you ever want to just drag stuff into a DAW, you can just drag the waves into it. A lot of cool workflow options with the MPCs, man. That's why I really enjoy them. All right, let me go ahead and save this real quick, and we'll move on to another one. All right, bet. So this one's gonna be from scratch, so I got to do a little bit of setting up here. So I'll go ahead and set it up so you guys can see it too. It's a pretty easy workflow. You know what I'm saying? Let me move the screen up just a little bit. So pretty much what I'm doing is, like, when I get to a new project, I just hit sampler twice, and this already has it, but I'll change this to 3 and 4. So it's, it's coming in through the sampler over here, and then hit this button so it's monitoring. So if you listen close, you can probably hear a little bit of noise. That's the thing with guitar pedals, it's analog circuitry. So I have everything plugged into a power conditioner over here, but you're still going to get a little bit of noise because some of these, like this one up here is actually emulating an old 60s amp. So it's going to sound, old 60s amp had noise. So it's pretty dope. It's pretty true to the period that it's from. It's called the Dream 65 from Universal Audio. All right, so yeah, we got the sampling set up, and this is all you do to set it up. You basically just go to your looper, and I recommend the looper. You can do this in the sample window too, just set it to 3 and 4. But the looper to me is just, I'm enjoying it a lot more. So yeah, got that set up. We'll go back to the main, and here pretty much I'll just go to like track 5. That's usually where I start my melodies, and we'll turn on a plugin. Let's see what one we want to use here. I think I confused the software, man. I was tapping on the plugin too much. I think I tried to load multiple instances or something. All right, let me just load up MPC again. That was a crash, actually. Yeah, I crashed MPC by tapping that too much. I haven't had too many crashes. That's probably only my 2nd or 3rd crash on a stream. All right, cool. It's back up. All right, so let's go back, do that one more time. 3 and 4. All right, and track 5, plugin. And we're gonna go to, we'll use the MPC plugins just for simplicity. All right, let's do Fabric Excel. And we'll do some strings. The one issue I have with Pad Perform and the MPC instruments, I might have talked about it before, is you got to go to this window and turn off the aftertouch. You can turn it off or just turn it down, because if you what I mean, the aftertouch is kind of wonky. I'm not really a fan of it. I wish there was like a universal aftertouch remove type of option, but it's cool. I just keep it on this screen for the most part when I'm scrolling through different instruments. And let me just pick some chords real quick. It's a little too bright. All right, so let's fire that up. And basically what you do here, once you've got your plugin picked out, you go to the outputs up here and you just turn that to 3 and 4, or, you know, whichever one you have the audio coming out. So I have it coming out 3 and 4. So that's coming through the pedal board now. And let's turn this one off. Actually, this one we can make cleaner. Bypass. We'll go straight to the Julianna. Yeah, maybe strings aren't that good for showcasing what it does. Maybe we'll do some pads. I know what we'll do. Where's that electric joint? Get some EPs. Yeah, much better. Yeah, I know if Derek Keels is over here, he'd be killing these keys, man. I can't play, so I got to use pad perform. But shout out to the homie Derek Keels, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, that's a little soft. It's definitely R&B vibes. Let me see if we can dirty it up some. Sounds kind of dope. That's before. That's after. That's pretty dope. Let me turn that up. Too easy. All right, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna come back to that. And I think I'll go to another track and then maybe we'll lay a piano melody down and then we'll come back and use that for kind of like plucks over the top. Because I really like that sound. All right, so let's do, I'm just gonna keep it on these MPC plugins because they're just quick to load. Keep it on that. All right, let's just try that to lay it down. And I'll go back to the other one. All right, that's too melancholy for me, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need something live for a Friday night. All right, let's see. Back it out just a little bit. Definitely too melancholy for me. It's fixing the velocity on some of them. I like that. I like that. All right, let's get some bass on that. Let's do a key group. And there was a really dope 808. Where was it that I found today? They got this Gold Dust expansion on here. Shout out to the homie Snipe Young, man. The dude is a beast on the sound design. That's super loud. Try that one. All right, program edit. Actually, let me go to sample edit, see what key this thing is in. B major. All right, sign it here. get some more drums. Cool. All right, and need a little hi-hat action there. I'm gonna go to some hi-hat loops that I keep on sending my soul. Try a couple of them. All right. Snares everywhere. different hi-hat loop than that one. Let's see what that sounds like. Hey, yo. What are you doing? That is not 58 BPM. I don't know what this MPC is talking about, yo. All right, sample edit, detect BPM. It's not 58. Yeah, it's like 88, I think. Let's give it a shot. Not quite. Trying to nudge him over a little bit. Yeah, I usually turn the reverb off on all the MPC plugins, and I'll just throw my own on there. So I'm just gonna track that out real quick in the looper, just to make sure I got that stem. Bet. All right, and export. We'll call that Julianna plug. And I'm just gonna say that to make sure I got the stem in there. Bet. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and save that and chop it up with y'all while I'm at it. Turn this off too. That amp noise be sounding crazy. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got caught up on that one. I always struggle whenever I use 808s trying to find the right drums for it. I really need like a really solid trap kit. I think I had one saved at one point, but it helps when you can just load up a kit that you're used to. As far as just laying stuff down real quick, but sometimes digging for drums will slow you up. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and menu, save project. But yeah, I think I'll probably mess around with the pedals and the Julianna the rest of the weekend. I really want to hook up this warm audio tonight, and then I'll probably start messing with it tomorrow. Everybody said it's because it's a tube preamp. You should let it warm up for like I guess a good half an hour before you use it. So I'm definitely gonna try that out. Like let it warm up a little bit. Tubes are crazy, man. Like I know the old analog consoles, they used to do that kind of stuff. Let the circuitry warm up. All right, we'll call that Julianna test 2. And what's today's date? 8th? 9th. All right, June 9th. All right, bet. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have my hands full with this joint. I don't know how much I'm gonna use this particular pedal for standalone soul, because standalone soul is more, it's more like 60s vintage vibes, you know what I'm saying? So 60s to early 70s. It might sound good on like a Hammond or something like that. So maybe I'll use it on some Hammond organs, or maybe on you know, just kind of like church style organs. You know what I mean? Those are definitely big on soul loops. So I'm gonna try to work it into that workflow. But I think definitely the tube preamp should really help with getting like a fatter vintage sound. So Mr. Pirate Brain said, did you get the, yeah, it's the 2 MPX, so it's a stereo version. Because I have, you know, I got the stereo pedal, so I really want to run everything from the pedals into that before it comes back into the system. You know what I'm saying? Because what I was doing to give like a little more character in this, I don't know if some of you guys noticed, like when you're sampling in into your MPC, like especially if you're in controller mode, is dope because you can plug in your samples. Hold on, let me just go to the overhead real quick to the sampler. In your sampler, you can actually overhead close. All right, you can actually turn. If you see up here, you got plugin inserts, right? So what I'll do here is I'll actually go to, I have like a favorites folder, and I'll go to like either a black box analog design, or I'll go to like a SSL channel strip, right? And then like you throw that on your input, you know what I mean? You set your parameters. I usually don't EQ too much unless there's like a lot of bass in the sample, but it's pretty dope because you can, you know, you're actually running your samples in through a SSL emulation. So I've been doing that a lot. So pretty much what this is going to do, this warm audio, is actually just make me not have to use the SSL. You know what I'm saying? I still might have to use it for for the EQing, because the preamp doesn't have EQ. So I still might have to EQ with it, but I think for the most part, you know what I mean, I'm not going to be using anything for color, you know what I mean, other than that. So I'm gonna try to see if I can really isolate it, see if it gives me like a lot of warmth. But I got it for like, I'll probably use it for like 3 months, and if I really like it, I'll hang on to it. If not, I'll send it back to Zounds and try something else out. So it's really cool. I got like a partnership program with them. They send me gear out. I'm able to check it out, and it's dope because I'm able to get my hands on it, test it for y'all, give you some audio examples, make some kits out of it and stuff like that, and you know, kind of just provide information. And I get to, you know, just use cool stuff. So it's a really good relationship. I appreciate Zounds a lot, man. They really been coming through for the content creators in our space. So if you're looking to buy gear, definitely the Zounds links are in the description. It goes a long way in helping the channel and, you know, supporting them, because they really do support the MPC creators more than anybody out there, like as far as retailers and stuff. So yeah, man, the warm audio, definitely gonna plug that in this weekend. Put it through its paces for the next few months, and I'm just gonna use it on a lot of stuff. If it sounds good, you know what I mean, I'm gonna give it probably like a good solid week or two to see if I'm really picking up the details in it. And if it sounds good, if it's really adding, I'm just gonna hang on to it, man, because I'm not like a huge outboard junkie, but I like having a good solid chain. You know what I'm saying? So I could probably sit it right up under my pedal board. That's kind of where I'm going to position it now, without doing, you know, a whole bunch of changes to my rig here, and then just kind of use it like the last step in the pedal chain, really. So that's going to be dope. Let me check in on the chat, man, see what else y'all are talking about. Let me see here. Shout out to the homie 365 OTG. Appreciate you, bro. Mr. Pybrain said, I've got the warm audio Neve and the Zulu. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Zulu. MG the Future uses the Zulu. CMP, Craftmaster Productions, uses the Zulu. So I definitely want to check that out at some point, man, because I think I'm using like tape emulation plugins. Like I just got one from Plugin Alliance called Tape Face or something like that, and that's been really dope. But if I can get it in hardware, that would be cool too. So I'd love to give it a shot, but I don't know if Zulus are sold. I got to check and see if Zounds has them, or, you know, because I'd love to test it out first and see if it's something that, you know, sounds good to my ears. But I've heard a lot of good things about the Zulu. Lex of MP said, I hate using the software, but that's a dope trick. Might have to start using it more. Yeah, man, it's cool. You know, it's cool for like editing. I'm just used to standalone. I had a Touch for like 5 years, you know what I mean? So I got a really powerful PC that I built specifically for music, and it gives me a lot of advantages. Obviously the RAM, you know what I mean? I got 32 gigs of RAM. I don't have RAM issues. Plugins run flawlessly. So it's really cool. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to you can stay, you know, focused on the screen like you're doing standalone, and just use controller mode for the mixing. You know what I mean? I use the mouse to correct MIDI notes. Usually you'll see me like reach for my mouse when I'm correcting some MIDI notes. If I'm using Pad Perform and I want a kind of like strumming effect, I'll use it to kind of like nudge the notes over, you know what I'm saying, and make them sound more natural. But yeah, you don't really have to use the mouse that much if you don't want to. Old heads in my studio don't like the warm audio stuff, but I think they aren't open to anything new or different. I'm pretty sure it'll still give a dope sound. Yeah, I mean, I guess warm audio is they're kind of like budget vintage or whatever. So we'll give it a shot. You know what I mean? I don't have like top of the line monitors and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm basically, you know, in my office, in my house, like I have like an office room, and then it's I've got like Atom Audio T7Vs, and, you know, my DT 770s. Like, I can hear details, but, you know, I'm not going to hear what guys are hearing on like, you know, $2,000 Genelecs or something. I'm assuming, you know what I'm saying? So there might be details that like higher end systems can pick out between true vintage gear and like kind of these reproductions, I guess you can call them. But yeah, I'm not that if it sounds good, it sounds good to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not that super detailed on the engineering side. But yeah, man. I mean, I thought it was a pretty cool run with the Julianna. I'm definitely going to implement it more in the channel. If you guys have questions about it, definitely leave me a comment. You know, down below, let me know if there's something else you'd like to hear run through it. I don't play guitar, but I have like guitar VSTs that I kind of cheat with. I would love to get a guitarist in here and run a real guitar through this chain and see what I can get out of it. Obviously it would be mono, but I think it would come out pretty dope. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in tonight. It's a Friday. Hope y'all getting in the lab, locking in, getting some stuff done. Fridays are always good for me because my wife usually takes the kids over to my mother-in-law's house and lets me rock out. So, you know what I mean? Wife, you definitely did me a solid tonight. And yeah, man, it was good to lock in with y'all. So let me know if y'all got questions down in the comments. And once again, IamSite.com, got the Retro King hats. They're still in stock. I got the MPC Gang joints. Always a perennial winner. And we got some new shirts coming in this week. So appreciate y'all, man. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.